So what I would like to talk you about today, it's very shortly about open access, some open access initiative, about our work on Diamas project. It's a project coming from Opera's community, and I will describing shortly what the situation in Croatia when we are looking at Croatian scholarly publishing landscape. So I would like to remind us that open science is a response to the scholarly communication crisis. And here are named 4 main crises, but there are many other crises. On my first place is reproducibility crisis. So a lot of results which are published, it's impossible to reproduce, and this leads to misinformation and distrust in science. Second crisis, it's caused by huge commercialization of scholarly publishing. And even when we are speaking about open access, we are dealing with high article processing charges, copyright transfer to publisher, and very restrictive licensing. Maybe for me, it's most important functionality crisis. So publishing is still dominated by traditional publishing. Yes, it's digital nowadays, but still we are mostly publishing in journals and books. And we didn't make any progress in that sense, and we didn't take advantages from technologies we have on disposal. And the last but not least is peer review crisis. So according to many research on peer review process is slow, expensive, ineffective. What's more is that it's biased, easy abused, and without incentives and rewards. But peer review, it's really a cornerstone of scholarly publishing, and we need to look how to improve it because scholarly communication system cannot survive without peer review. In Europe, open science, I didn't ask, can you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, thank you. So we, in Europe, open access initiative started in 2014 already. Europe was very early in this initiative, but somehow the whole open science process gained impetus by when UNESCO joined in 2021. So UNESCO is defining open science as multilingual scholarly knowledge which is openly accessible, openly available, accessible, and reusable, and it's supporting collaboration. There are some UNESCO recommendations and key objectives, and we can see that UNESCO is advocating for promoting common understanding of open science. We are very in Croatia, for example, that a lot of members of the scholarly community still doesn't understand what open science. It's about UNESCO. It's pledging for policies at national level, at institutional level, for development of infrastructure and services, training and education, etc. So it's on that track of European Commission activities in open science and UNESCO activities and many different and other stakeholders, Diamas Opera's community realized that we need to start with a project which will be focused on small institutional publishers, on diamond open access, which is not charging authors, and it's not charging. There are no fees on author side or on reader side. And that we need to introduce in this community of small publisher best practices in scholarly communication. So our main goals on DIAMAS project were harmonizing high quality ecosystem for scholarly communication, enable open infrastructure for institutional publishers, standardizing current institutional practices by setting up extensible quality standard, which will be mentioned later by my colleague Milica Šefčovič, and building capacity center for training, education, dissemination of different toolkit standards and guidelines. Last year, the large DIAMAS landscape survey was run by our community and by our project team, and it was disseminated in each country, European country, including also Macedonia. I was in charge for Macedonia, and we recognize almost 50 institutional publishers, academic publishers in Macedonia. But yes, unfortunately, we received only one participant for Macedonia was included. But what did we learn from our results of projects? So we collected almost 700 responses, and we realized that its geographical distribution is very, it's uneven. So you can see from this image that biggest representation in the sample is from Croatia, Serbia, France, and Spain. So, and in a lot of countries, we collected only few responses. So, and it was not enough to make any kind of conclusions. So we realized that there are large differences between countries, and that's organization at the country level and publishing activities at the country level are of utmost importance. And so it's obvious that journal editors and publishers need support from administrative structures, from different organizations. They need also some funding options. Almost 100% of our sample published journals, mostly it's less than 5 journals, mostly less than 50 papers per year. And they have really, most of them have very low budget. I hope that this presentation will be shared with all participants of this conference, and I put a link to all results and all the data from this survey. So you can, if you find time, you can look at the full data set. Related to Croatia, we started developing open access infrastructure in Croatia very early in 1997, and everything started with the first bibliography with repository functionalities, Crosby, Croatian Scientific Bibliography. We continued to develop and to organize information about Croatian researchers, scientists, and their publications, and then we continued with the repository of scientific equipment, so the instruments they are using in their research. But maybe some milestones were in 2006 when we created the Croatian open access journal platform Hrčak, which hosts today over 500 journals, open access journals. And in 2005, 15 national infrastructure for institutional repositories. It's created DABAR, and so each institution, academic institution in Croatia can set up institutional repositories in half a day, and so that's really great that we are building and sharing infrastructure in Croatia for quite a long time. So recently, in 2023, almost everything was ingested in the Croatian research information system, CRORIS. So yes, and we hope that this development will bring significant advancement, for example, in search possibilities, metadata description, etc. Most used external services for journals, books, and conference proceedings in Croatia are open journal systems and open monograph press. For example, open monograph press is used at my university and to publish the monographs and books in open access. Publishing landscape in Croatia has long tradition. It's non-profit, published mostly by universities and societies. I mentioned that on Hrčak we have 500 journals, but there are 411 active journals which are publishing actively, and unfortunately, only few initiatives are present in Croatia related to open access books and monographs. And one example is my university, and another example is Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences of the University of Zagreb and their FF Open Press. So what is very important when we are speaking about organization and support at the national level, that we founded in September 2019 Croatian Association for Scholarly Communication, ZNAC, with main goals to encourage and support open scholarly communication, to provide some support for editors and publishers in their work, to communicate and cooperate with other stakeholders and service providers, and to be some kind of glue connecting government, which is subsidizing journals, connecting journal publishers and editors, book publishers and editors, libraries and librarians, and all other stakeholders. So we are organizing as NAC series of workshop webinars, and also we are providing support for the inclusion of Croatian journals in databases like Sheparom, Directory of Open Access Journal, Scopus, and Web of Science core collection. I don't know how it's exactly in Macedonia, but in Croatia, Scopus and Web of Science core collection databases are really important for journals and publishers, and of course for authors, because our research assessment system is based on prestige of the journal, prestige measured by in my opinion, wrong indicators. And yes, but we still need to support this, because until we change our research assessment system at national level, then we need to adapt to the publishers and journal editors and authors' needs. So we are conducting surveys on issues related to editorial work. We are providing individual education if needed on different topics, and we are translating important documents. Related to visibility and indexing, Croatian scholarly journals, we have almost 160 journals in Directory of Open Access Journal, 115 in Shepa Romeo, which is this is important database for declaring related to the so
Would
just
you like
ignore.
to finish your presentation?
Yes, I'm at the end. So we have 140, 64 journals in Scopus and 124 in Web of Science. I will just keep to the end. So Croatian journals are funded by government. There are two ways of funding. One is following annual call, and another one is through program funding of academic and research institutions in Croatia. The voluntary work is very important for Croatian journals, and there is absence of paid staff. So Croatian journals are multilingual in a great extent, and adoption of open science principles is still ongoing process. So we are waiting for the reform of research assessment system in Croatia. We still believe that Croatian journals are very important, that they are bridging the gap between science and application inside community, that they are empowering research and academic culture and building reputation of the local scholarly communication. Thank you.